Life is about taking chances, trying new things, having fun, making mistakes, and learning from it. A very good evening to all the guests and dignitaries. With a great joy and immense excitation, I feel privileged to warmly extend welcome to today's webinar on how to lead in a VUCA world, organized by SEMS. I, Ritika Kumari, welcome you all on the behalf of SEMS Group. Before I proceed, let me take a brief moment for the introduction of my organization. SIMS Welfare Foundation is a non-profit entity established to work in the areas of education, social welfare, women empowerment, and skill development. SIMS Group has conducted various international conferences, seminars, workshops, and webinars in emerging technology in various parts of India and has an active network of 3,000 plus engineers, managers, researchers, etc. DC Saksham is an initiative of SEMS Group, which has developed content over 100 webinars. The topic of today's webinar is how to lead in a VUCA world, which is presented by Ashish Mittal sir. In the today's fast-paced, complex environment, leaders frequently feel as they must spirit merrily to remain still in order to function efficiently. Almost instantly, new technologies, changes in political and economic conditions expose organization to a new heights and sustainability. It's true, we live in a volatile, unacceptable, complex, ambitious world. To provide guidance on how to embrace new practices, obstacles, a webinar on how to lead in a VUCA world is created and held by SET. I profusely elated to take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the day, Ashish Mittal sir. Mr. Ashish Mittal sir is a group CHRO at Srinidhi Educational Group, Hyderabad, India. He comes with a rich, diverse, and a global work experience of 23 years, spanning across CSR, IT, ITS, and educational industry. He has done his HR certification from IIM Bangalore and MBA from Southern New Hampshire University, US. Sir is a certified competency based interviewer, a global certified psychometric test professional, and a certified HR author. In his earlier role, he has worked as head public relation at Akshaya Patra Foundation, lead BPHR at Infosys, wherein he was heading a unit of 2,000 plus employees. He was also a head HR at Manipal International University, Malaysia. Sir was also awarded by White Page International in Asia's 100 Powers Leader in HR May 2020. In March 2022, Topmost HR Leaders India Award. Sir was also awarded by the World HRD Congress in Ross by CHRO Global and World Federation of HR Professionals. Sir was also recognized as 101 Most Fabulous HR Leaders 2020 and 101 HR Super Achievers HR Leadership Award 2019 by the World HRD Congress. Sir has conducted session on HR leadership and motivational session with student, academia and corporates. The world is full of diamonds and gems and we are having one of them here today to build this event. With this note, I would like to give my heartiest welcome to our guest speaker, Ashish Mittal sir, with a big round of applause.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ritika. Very good evening to everyone. And I see some people from across the globe. So it's good morning or good evening. I would like to extend my greetings to you all. So what I'm going to do is I've divided today's session actually into 30 minutes. I'll have run a small PowerPoint presentation followed by a good interaction Q&A session. Yeah, so we're going to talk about on a very, very interesting topic, the VUCA world. We've been calling it, for the last 10, 15 years. And post-COVID, the challenges in the VUCA world have increased much more than what it was actually. So what it is, let us just go through a quick deep dive into the situation. So VUCA, as we know, it's an acronym actually. It's an artificial word. It's not a word in dictionary, but it's an acronym which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguity. And what it means, we will see. that quality. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So we're seeing that quality that make a situation or something which is very difficult to understand, preempt, or react to it. That's typically a VUCA situation. And how do we actually mitigate these challenges despite various obstacles coming in our way, which will help us to actually only become a strategic and a strong leader in the long run. So what used to happen was in the traditional leadership, it's just typically yes, no kind of thing, like it's my way or highway. But today we need to look at a very flexible, agile leadership, which will actually go along with the flow, understand the situation, understand the 360-degree view, and then take a very balanced, calculated decision. Okay. Now, the word was coined in 1987. It was based upon the leadership theories by the two Americans. We had the American scholar and the American professor, Bert Nanus. It was in the response of the US Army War College to the collapse of the US Soviet Union in 1990. So that's where actually the first time the word was coined in to understand, because they didn't know, how to react, how to handle. So there are completely new challenges in front of them, and that's how they coined this word. US Army War College is basically college where they train all the people for senior leadership roles in the army area. And after VUCA, there have been also been discussion. That's the reason I've just put these two. That there's something called Bani and Rup. Okay, Bani is brittle, anxious, non-linear, incomprehensible, and Rup is rapid, unpredictable, paradoxical, and tangled. I'm not touching these two in this during this small presentation. So we are seeing that as I mentioned, the preamble to the entire thing is that the entire world, the situations around us have become extremely complex. There are no clear answers. For example, the COVID came, people didn't know, how to react to it. We didn't know, people had panicked, they were in tension. And after the COVID, people took all the shots. And still, a lot of companies are working on different models. How do I get my employees back to the organization? There are no clear answers. The road, it's for the first time everybody's facing these situations in their lives. So it has actually put one of the most important fundamental question to almost all the leaders in various organizations. How do I lead my organization? How do I lead my people? How do I decide which decisions to make or take? Because there is historical data. The times have been changing, situations are changing. So it's a very, very precarious situation. Now, I will dwell a little bit on each of these components. Volatility, so basically it's the nature and dynamics of change, the speed of change forces. Now, what it typically aims at is the pace of change is faster and more rapid than our ability to respond, which means the things around us, situations around us are changing in a much faster speed, at a much faster pace, then we can actually preempt that. The increased pace of change, definitely then it needs accelerated decision making. Great leaders, they never procrastinate decisions, right? We need to take decisions now and then. Now, and we can't keep it pending for years together or days or months together. We have to be very quick and fast, otherwise you will lose the game. So since the situations are changing very fast, we need to take decisions very fast, and that puts on the additional pressure for all the top leaders. Changes are large scale and occur suddenly, usually require an urgent response. Now, when changes occur, actually they do not give it time, they don't give you an advance notice. They would need a leader to take a decision. Okay, it's not to postpone the session or not to postpone the decision. It's important that he or she has to take a decision at that point of time. You'll only have probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, or maximum half an hour, not beyond that. You need to join all the dots, understand the data, understand the patterns, understand what's going to work better for me, for my organization, for my employees, and then take a calculated call. Leaders are feel overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, and unprepared to lead effectively. The reason is because we are not prepared. Okay, we are all calling. We know in India the Agnipath scheme which has come up, right? The whole point is actually to create a generation who can face the VUCA world. Today, these people get trained in the armed forces after 4 years because they would be trained on various aspects of life. Let it be honesty, sincerity, time management, commitment, dedication, agility, flexibility, various components. So tomorrow, when we have a lot of people who are already trained in these areas, they will be in a much better situation to face the VUCA world. The challenge for leaders is to learn to respond and manage change more effectively, to shift from reacting to change and move towards a more proactive response. So, very important here is we are not looking for postmortem here. We are looking for proactive actions, proactive decisions, not for reactive. Reactive, any Tom, Dick, and Harry will do. A fresher from college will do. A person 30 years of experience, if he's doing the same job, then there's no sync. So my point, as leaders, we need to ensure that we proactively preempt and also take decisions on time. Command and control situations, structures fail in fast changing, disruptive environments. A lot of leadership styles. I mean, when I took a lot of senior leadership and a lot of employees, they say, Ashish, my boss was very commanding, dictating, Hitler way. I mean, so today, even the mid-level management, which plays an extremely critical role, has to have the topmost skills of the leadership. The point is to understand how do we have a very collaborative approach, how do we take the teamwork along together. So that's extremely important. So that's about volatility, uncertainty. Now, the lack of predictability, the prospects of surprise, awareness, understanding of issues and events. So there is high level of uncertainty. So basically, difficult to get what's happening, right? Today I'm actually working from Hyderabad. There have been 3 days. Due to the heavy cloud bursts and the rains, the government has declared holidays for all the education institutions we are working. So my point, a lot of decisions are just being have to be taken on spot. But we really difficult to get what's happening. There's a lot of exams which are planned for a lot of students. So a lot of challenges to handle. Leaders are required to act on incomplete or insufficient information. Now, here comes your leadership skills. Because if every data is there, if every information is there, it's easy to take a call. But when you have half-baked data, it's difficult to join the dots. It's difficult to come up with a story as to what we should do. So that puts on to the additional pressure due to the uncertainty. Leaders are more likely to rely on what seemed to have worked in the past. Leaders always look for historical data, just like in medical field, they look for historical records, historical data. So if you have history, today's leaders are trained that, okay, Ashish, let me look in the past, what happened last time in this situation, how did we react? The point is, are we in a situation to look forward, to think forward and move ahead? Question mark. Too much of information noise, not equal signal. At the same time, we say that, with the advent of internet, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, a lot of information everywhere. So you need to really choose what to pick up and what not to pick up, what to drop. Difficulty in connecting the dots to understand the outcomes of an event. So my point is these are all the parameters of uncertainty, which only adds on to the challenges for a leader. Next is complexity. Now, the multiplex of forces, the confounding of issues, chaos, confusion that surrounds. So it's everywhere there are issues, there are complexities. There is nothing very simple to take a decision. If it was very simple, we didn't have to bother. So my point is, it becomes extremely difficult to take decisions in a very complex situations. So just few points: difficulty in acting and driving the change required to address a web of interrelated issues and concern. Now, when a challenge is posed to a leader in a complex situation, the answer is definitely not going to be black or white. It's going to be shades of gray, because it's going to involve multiple people, multiple departments. The decision, if you take, what's the financial impact on it, what's the impact on the people. So the point is, the more complex the issue, the more challenging situation for a leader to take decision. Increased complexity means it's difficult to know where to start to drive the change. Now, you see there's a small diagram there, like in a high complexity. So point is, where do I start? And especially one is, where do I start? Second is, where do I start to make an impact on the change? It's an important question. Third, temptation to act on and implement short-term solutions and over rely on quick wins. So there is always a tempt, we're always thinking, let's take an immediate ad hoc call, ad hoc decisions, immediately something which is just to make a patch-up solution, not doing a proper root cause analysis. Leaders lack the time to reflect and think through the complexities and end up acting too quickly. It's very important for a leader to take a decision in a very balanced frame of mind. So what happens is, sometimes even the top CEOs of top Fortune 500 companies have gone some of the case studies, business studies, that even they have taken wrong decisions and they were fired just because, not that they didn't have experience, they did not have a graduation, or they didn't have any education qualification. No, they had everything, but still they took too quickly a decision due to which they were fired. So my point is, complex situations are there. So we need to keep our mind calm, look at the data and take a very balanced decision. Mitigating actions do not address the root cause of the symptoms. They only do a patch-up work. The danger of getting stuck in analysis paralysis and end up acting too late. There's no point bringing a dead body in front of a doctor, say, hey, doctor, this person met with an accident. He said, you're too late. The point over here is, there is complex data. I understand it. In today's world, it's like 2 minutes Maggie noodles, right? Everybody wants, and at like a bell boy, you press a button and you need an answer. The point is, for the leaders to take a decision, there's a lot of data crunching which goes, and there have been situations where the leaders get lost, completely absorbed in the analysis of data, thereby either they're taking too much time and the essence of presenting the data is lost, or they get themselves completely absorbed in it. So the point is to you should know when to zoom in, when to zoom out, how much to do analysis, how many, what are my timelines, deadlines, because everything has to be done in a very timely manner. Ambiguity. Okay, so the haziness of reality, the potential for misreads, mixed meanings of condition, cause and effect. Now, failing to understand the significance of an event. Now, this is a very fundamental quality which is talking about understanding skills. Failing to understand the significance. I mean, I'm not too sure what to do, what not to do. It's completely blurred. The vision is blurred. High risk of misinterpreting events and responding inappropriately, often in ineffective ways. Because if you don't have the vision of what you're doing, obviously you're going to make wrong decisions which are going to impact your project, your company, your bottom line, as well as top line revenues. Leaders are too far removed from the source and context of the events. Leaders act based on limited understanding of events and their meaning. So the point is, it's excuse me, it's very important for a leader to have the right kind of vision to face the VUCA world. Otherwise, with this ambiguity, either low or high will continue to pose a high amount of challenge. Now, what's the VUCA impact? Okay, so it relates to how people view the conditions under which they make decisions, plan forward, manage risks, foster change, and solve problems. So basically, we're talking about in a fast-paced world, how difficult and challenging it is for the leaders. So this basically, I'm going to decode it in the next slide. Yeah. Okay. So, how does VUCA? What is the VUCA impact based upon this VUCA qualities? VUCA, the volatility is basically causes fear. A person is not prepared. A leader is not prepared. He's a bit scared. He's nervous, and he's not too sure what he has to do. Uncertainty causes paralysis through a tendency of invest excessive and futile efforts on data analysis. Uncertain. Complex causes a desire to look for scapegoats or black and white solutions that are usually erroneous. So scapegoats is basically we pass the buck. We are not ready to take the ownership. Even if you've done a mistake, own it. Hi, I committed a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll learn from it and I will repeat it again. End of story. But do not try to play a blame game in a corporate world. Generally, people try to pass on the buck. They say he did, she did. Goes on, endless stories. So point is situations are complex, but we need to be very clear in taking decisions. Ambiguity induces doubt, distrust, very important. Trust is the basis of any relationship, right? Personal or professional. So if it increases or kind of induces distrust, it's a high alarming situation. Hesitancy and impedes decision making and change. Now, there are some of the behavior and skills which I wanted to highlight, like the buzzing words in the VUCA world. So when it comes to behaviors, okay, we're talking about embracing the change. It's not adopting the change, it's embracing the change. Laser focused, visionary, you're so crystal damn clear. There are the behaviors. Transform vision into action. Nobody wants stories, nobody wants books or things to read. They want actions. All vision or everything has to be translated into meaningful actions. Influence positivity, agile, responsive, navigate through complexity. How are you going to navigate your paths, your behaviors? Simplify matters. Situations will be complex. Do not complicate them further because it's not going to serve anybody's purpose. Empower and enable. Do not try to keep your power center under you. Without me, nothing is going to rock. My ship is going to rock. No. Try to delegate, learn what to delegate, how much to delegate, when to delegate. Sensitive to social dynamics, helps other adapts to change. A leader always, these kind of behaviors are most required in today's scenario. Takes initiatives. Not that I'm in my comfort level zone, I'm comfortably sitting and doing. No, the moment I have time or something, I want to take more and more initiatives so that I'm able to learn and grow and also contribute to my organization. Embrace diversity. We talk about diversity, equity. Okay, these are the very important aspects. Inclusivity. Any organization, we understand that it's only diverse talents which actually bring on innovation, creativity in an organization. So we need talents from across different geographies, different sections of people, different communities. When they are together, you're going to get the best shot out of that. Decisiveness, spot opportunities, coming down to skills, agile leadership. There's nothing fixed. Be flexible. Effective communication. Today, most of the time, people, we only listen what we want to listen. We got selective listening, right? So in a communication, you're oral, written, you should be very clear. Your body language, you need to be very clear in communication. Decision making, do not again, keep postponing. Your team members will lose trust in you, and eventually you will be a failure. Then we have selling the vision, extremely important. If in a ship or if a pilot doesn't have his vision, where I have to land up, where I have to go, my goal, we know what's going to happen. Change management. Only one thing is permanent, that is change, right? So we need to understand how do we handle change, manage at the right time. Influence others. We should be able to positively influence others so that they are able to contribute to the organization, also to themselves. Problem solving, one of the most critical skills required post COVID, problem solving and decision making. How we are able to analytically, logically visualize a particular problem and come out with meaningful solutions and answers. Strategic management, strategic thinking, planning, and organizing. So just put this to course. Actually, your degree is just a piece of paper. Your education is in your behavior. So behavior skills. Point is, tomorrow you may have the best of the best degrees, but ultimately it's your behavior, your body language, the way you talk, the way you maintain relationships, the way you interact with people is something going to take you on top. And that's something again which is going to not only take you on top, but also keep you on top. So behaviors are soft skills are extremely important. These are also called power skills, no longer a soft, they're called power skills because they have a huge power which can either make you or break. The future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. So behaviors and skills are most important. One of the important triangle, we call it ask, attitude, skills, knowledge. Okay. So skills and knowledge can be acquired, but attitude cannot be acquired. So point is, actually, you need to build the right attitude with this variety of right behaviors, which will help you to become a very good leader. So, okay, this is distinct elements that make an environment and organization. I'm actually going to talk about what is important over here is you need to focus on how well you can predict the future, the business plans, and how much you're aware about the entire situation under 360-degree view around. Once you're aware of these two aspects, you are in a much better position to handle the VUCA challenges. Now, how do we decode VUCA, or how do I face it? Okay, what's the antidote for VUCA? It's first is by vision. Align activities with an overall goal. Most of the time, the vision and mission in organization are just hung on a wall and kept in some room. No, it's important that every leader has the vision and mission sessions for their employees every 6 months so that people should not lose the focus. They should know where my radar is going. Encourage team members to overcome the obstacles. Structure the team in a way that fosters initiatives. Okay, welcome two-way approach, welcome creativity, welcome brainstorming. That's very important. So your vision will help you to tackle your volatility. Uncertainties by understanding. Sometimes slow down, observe and ask questions, listen carefully. Just about 4 days back, I was giving a talk on how important it is to listen to employees, because the employees who have a lot of complaints are the ones who can really help you to build an organization, because they will help you to understand where your organization is going wrong, what are the things to be done. So it's very important. Listen to your employees, listen to what's happening around you, know the strengths of team members, and work with them to find solutions. Every single person in the team is extremely important, and it's God's gift that different individuals come with different skill sets, different qualities in them. So it's very important that you are able, as a leader, you're able to harmonize and make the best, give the best opportunity to your team members so that they can exhibit all the leadership qualities and grow. Know what a team needs to optimize their performance and meet your expectations. So these two aspects, if you are clear, I mean, it will help you to understand the situation around you. Complexity. So clarity, again, when it comes to complexity, it directly shoots on clarity, that communicate your vision. Very, very, very important. If you do not communicate, it's like, the whole team is lost. Everybody's going in different directions. So it's very important that you clear it. These are a goal, these are a vision, mission, and I'm going to achieve. These are my targets. These are my yardsticks. These are my measures. Every 15 days, 30 days, I'm going to measure, so that the entire team is going towards the vision. They're very clear that yes, we have a vision. I'm going to contribute. I'm going to be part of the vision. Focus on gathering the information you need to make good decisions. That, because if you focus on this data, it will help you to take decisions, data-based decisions. The ambiguity part will be handled as agility. Adapt quickly as needed. My point is, do not take too much time. Agile is basically flexible. You're quickly adapting. I mean, you're not very rigid that it's only Ashish has to work only my style of leadership. No, whatever the situation demands, execute that style of leadership at that particular situation. communicate effectively and understand communication needs at all levels. Now, today, gone are the days when we work in silos, right? We work in cross-functional teams in an organization. So it's very important that you have a very good rapport. You're very clear in your communication skills, talking to multiple stakeholders in an organization. And also there's an art, like for example, somebody from the college joins fresh. There's a way to talk. Somebody's experienced, somebody's very well experienced. And you can just say, hey, dude, just get onto the data. Come on, let's sit bang on. But someone has joined the fresher, you need to have a greeting, smile, have a conversation, how are you, everything, and then slowly bring it in. So there's styles of communication. Formulate your message accordingly to these needs. So these are some of the 6 skills for leading through the VUCA world. The first I have put is vision casting. So as I said, that you should be able to clearly define the core value proposition. We also call it employee value proposition in HR, wherein we say it's the give and the get. Basically, you as a leader set the right kind of culture that traits what will be rewarded if you achieve these results. So point is, it's very important for you how you and your team will fit into this daily contribution in times of change. So you take your entire team to a very clear vision. Clarify doubts. Do not tell them we'll discuss later. Never ever do that when it comes to understanding the vision. Setting and communicating a shared purpose and vision in turn helps the team understand the bigger picture. Now, most of the time, if the team does not have a bigger picture, high possibility they will resign, they will walk out, or they will be disengaged or actively disengaged employees, and you don't serve any purpose. So it's very important that you take your team, you share them the short-term goals and as the long-term goals, which are the bigger picture. When everything is constantly changing, this shared purpose and vision is a pillar to keep coming back to. So the point is, whenever there are challenges, situations, your team will say, okay, Ashish, we have to achieve this target. It's okay, I'll burn the midnight oil. I know that we have to do that as a team. So it's very important when they have a clear goal, clear vision, your team will go out of the way. So it's very important to communicate these aspects to your team. Second is preparedness. Okay. Monitoring and tracking trends, competitors, business environment to identify patterns and variables. So basically, in any business environment, you have internals, which is your direct stakeholder. I mean, direct stakeholder, like it'll be your suppliers and your purchasers, multiple things, and external environment, again, which is basically out of the organization, the micro and the macro. So internal environment would typically consider about your employees internal to an organization. Micro environment will refer to all your vendors, purchase suppliers, and macro is basically we do political, economical, social, and technological, which is forces which are outside the organization, so the macro environment. So how are you prepared as a leader to handle this business environment? That's extremely important. So when you incorporate this into your function, you can start to anticipate and prepare for a change because you are understanding the end-to-end solution, end-to-end business problem. And a very simple, very famous quote by Benjamin Franklin, which I love: by failing to prepare, I repeat, by failing to prepare, you're actually preparing to fail. So either ways you're preparing, so prepare for the best. That's the most important. So the third quality is flexibility and adaptability. We're talking about in terms of uncertainty, change. An ideal leadership trait is the ability to be flexible and adaptable, because today every leader in any sector across the globe has to have these 2 important qualities, because in the VUCA world, there are so many challenges, and if a person is not flexible, not adaptable, it's going to be huge challenging for him. Because you need to have alternatives. That's the reason I put plan A and plan B. Don't come and tell me, Ashish, I failed because my manager came, Ashish, this didn't work. I said, what? My next question is not why didn't work, where's the plan B? Simple. I need to hear that at least you have a plan B ready in place. So point is adaptability, flexibility. Do not get rigid of my way or highway, the old way of functioning. So it's very important that you adapt to changes. Today, technology has cut across all the sectors through our lives. Everybody wakes up with a mobile phone and sleeps with a mobile phone today. I mean, technology everywhere. You want to purchase, you want to sell, everything is just through technology. So, I mean, we have to embrace technology, and we should not be very rigid. So, flexibility and adaptability are 2 most important aspects. Fourth is the decision making. One of the most important qualities for a leader is he should have a strong passion for taking actions. I mean, he should not be that, okay, happy-go-lucky guy, just chilled out. No, because VUCA leadership, it's a high challenging, highly stressful. And if you don't have that fire in the belly to take decisions, actions on time, it's going to be huge So it's not going to be easy for you then. So it's basically the ability to take a decision when you have incomplete information, cannot fully realize the complexity and interconnectivity of the decision being made. Experience cannot be relayed as the decision has never happened before. The point is, there are no, it's a road which you are traveling for the first time. No one has traveled through the road. We don't have any road maps. We don't know where to go. We don't have any past experiences. So you really have to, crack it with the right decisions. Is extremely important. So leaders must accept that they are operating in an imperfect world. It's not perfect, it's an imperfect world. And they must make the best choice for the project, team, and organization between action and inaction. You should know, even including a battle, you'll have to fight, but choose your battles. Don't rock your ship too much, right? Then you're going to sink. So point is, you are actually bombarded with so many actions while taking a decision. So decision making is one of the most critical competency which is required. Collaboration and teamwork. So when leading through unprecedented times, innovative thinking and idea diversity, innovative thinking, foster this kind of qualities in your team members, in your groups, because when a person comes with innovative ideas, there are better ways to solve a particular problem. So basically, it requires inputs across all function levels of organization needed to uncover new solutions. You have to come up with new ways. You cannot use an old solution or old logic to solve today's problem. It's not going to work out, right? Now, for example, COVID came, COVID busted. Today, if you look at the education sector, most of our academicians are not very well equipped in terms of how to handle technology. But today, COVID has stopped. Today, everybody's working. So all of them have to do better the change management. So my point is, you have to think out of the world, you have to think out of the box to how do I help people to adapt this change. Again, as there are no best practices when navigating through the VUCA times, facilitating collaboration among employees as a leader becomes all the more important. So point is, you have to take care of employees very carefully, very systematically, thoughtfully. Collaboration, teamwork. Again, it's only a teamwork which will actually help you to win the game. It's not individual contributors. Sixth is a customer focus. Again and again and again, we say customer is the king. And IEHR say if you take care of your employees will take care of your customers. So it's very important that every organization should focus completely on customers so that they know that what their business is, in which direction they are going, what they should do, and what they should not do. This is one of the things which I like. In today's volatile environment and the challenge of digitization, organizations can no longer hide behind their brands. Today, every organization, like I worked with Infosys for 5 years, and we have top-notch organizations, Wipro, HCL, different organizations, Google, Apple. So point is, every day they have to exhibit qualities of leadership, qualities of success, qualities of teamwork. Okay, because only then they can succeed and sustain. Otherwise, they're going to get outdated. So these are some of the VUCA examples which I just picked up randomly. Uber is the world's largest taxi company, has no vehicles. Facebook has no content. The most popular media owner. Alibaba, they have no inventory at all. Airbnb has nothing into real estate. So what have they done is complete total digital disruption. They have leveraged technology and they have scaled the greater heights. So these are the way, because nobody knew today. I mean, today all of us travel with the very app, Ola, Uber, Rapido, multiple apps, right? I mean, it's completely the entire transportation in our country. It's taken a huge, complete change. Earlier, there are days we used to go stop an auto or a car. Hey, do you know this address? And we have no Google Maps, nothing. So point is, the times are changing. Are you embracing the change, or you're going to get redundant? So that's very important. These are, I'm just focusing on 12 key competencies which are extremely required: teamwork, communication, adaptability, reliability, motivation. You need to be highly self-motivated. Don't depend upon motivation from others. Be a self-motivated person. Integrity, decision making, initiative, work standards, problem solving, stress tolerance, really we call it resilience as well, that how quickly you can actually come back from setbacks in life. Life is not going to be a bed of roses all the time, right? There are going to be ups and downs, but that's how it is. The curves are the ones which make the entire scenery beautiful. So how do you handle stress? Tolerating stress is very important in today's times. That's the reason we have psychiatrists, counselors in various colleges, universities, including all corporate sectors, that employees have a lot of issues, mental issues, I mean multiple issues. We send them through that. Organizing skills. Post-pandemic, again, just want to focus on adaptability, creativity, critical thinking, resilience, and self-management. Self-management is extremely important. That if you do not know, do your self-manage, this is one of the most important qualities for the leader, because a leader should know how to manage his or her time very well. If you can't manage your time, if you are not, if you do not know what to do when, what, because time is a limited commodity, just 24 hours for everybody. In the 24 hours, how do I get the maximum return on investment? How do I achieve maximum deliverables, maximum goals? How do I spend my time effectively? Getting a right balance between personal life as well as professional life. So the VUCA leadership focuses mainly on these few qualities, and I'm going to go. So I just want to focus a little bit on IQ versus EQ. CEOs are hired for the intellectual. IQ is the intellectual quotient. EQ is the emotional quotient, which has gained a lot of importance again in the VUCA world today. So CEOs are hired for their intellect and business expertise and fired for a lack of emotional intelligence, empathy. Today, if a leader is not to be able to empathize with employees, empathize with the team members, he or she is just fired. I mean, because there are COVID situations, we do not know. People are going through various challenges of life. It's extremely important that you handle them carefully, delicately, give them the quality time, hear them out, and try to come out with a meaningful solution which will actually help them. So, emotional intelligence. So basically, we're talking about people who are high in emotional intelligence. They are the parameters, they are the qualities which they exhibit: increased team performance, decrease stress. People of emotional, they are self-motivated, always have a lot of positive energy, improve decision making, reduce staff turnover. Because if a person is weak in EQ, what will happen is he'll have stress, burnout, he might quit the organization, and that goes on repeating. So a person with high EQ, again, increased personal well-being. He knows, will go and play sports, get into, there are some various ways to beat a stress, and every individual knows the best. There are some people who actually, I like painting, I like gardening. I say, go do it, but do not postpone it. It's very important. Increase leadership ability. So people with high EQ exhibit these 6 qualities, which are extremely important and required in today's scenario. So again, it's the IQ, EQ, and the social skills which will make you a complete person. So which will help you to actually give optimum performance in an organization. And lastly, a perfect manager needs to be a perfect person, which is possible only if he or she is sufficiently intelligent, socially apt, willing to learn, change, and is spiritually inclined. SQ is also called the spiritual quotient. The point is, since there are various quotients, a person has to balance all the 4 quotients so that then he can actually be a successful person in life. This is my one of the last slide. Yeah. So the significant problems we face today cannot be solved at the same way of thinking we were when we created them. Leaders have to be uncomfortable with the uncomfortable world of VUCA because it's a new normal actually. Okay, know how to strengthen and nurture the people. The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, but it is to act with yesterday's logic. That is the biggest danger. So the point is, please, when you're taking decisions, do not take decisions based upon 10 years back, 5 years back. No, we need to look 3, 4 months back what happened, or probably today and next few months what's going to happen. So we should know when to look at past and when not to look at past. So I think with this, I'll end my PPT, and I'll be more than happy to take any questions from anyone. Just a moment.
Sir, there is a question on their behalf. I am asking you,
Yeah.
how can the volatility and the challenges we face be used to our advantage?
See, the point over here is we spoke about volatility, we spoke about the vision. Okay, once you have a clear vision, uh, I'm not sure who asked this question. If that person can ask me directly, I'll try to understand what exactly he or she is asking. Because if it is at an organizational level, it's very important, very simple that you have the vision and the mission workshops for your employees. Do it every 6 months or at least yearly once compulsory. Take them through that so that they are able to overcome these challenges. They are able to see the larger picture, where I'm going. They're able to work extra, which is required. So point is, today's employees say, Ashish, I'm not connected. I don't know. I'm doing today, but after that, my manager shuts off and I have no clues where my work goes. So point is, are you able to connect the dots, and is an employee able to have a 360-degree view of his work and what he or she is doing in an organization, as well as where he or she fits into the organization. So that's extremely important.
There is one more question, sir. In terms of distance working, what ways should we do to have harmonious working environment?
Okay, so we call it now where it's a hybrid model, right? Work from home, work from office. Now it's WFA, which is work from anywhere. Ultimately, what is required is deliverables, timelines, actions. So your question is, how do I work remotely, and I'm able to come up, work along with other team members. So the point is, see, this requires a very collaborative approach. I repeat, a collaborative approach, because it has its own plus and minus. That's the reason today most of the organizations trying to focus on hybrid, that depending on the nature of work, you come to office at least 1 or 2 days a week. 1 day a week is good enough, where you interact with team and have a face-to-face conversations. Remaining work can happen probably from home. So the point is, how well you're connected with your team, with your leader during the office hours, after the office hours, will help you to connect better in the organization.
Thanks for answering question, sir. One more question came up. How can we anticipate, embrace, and prepare for the uncertainty inherent in the system?
Okay, first thing is, I don't have a clear answer for this, because this is the VUCA question. How can we anticipate, embrace, and prepare for the uncertainty? So again, what I'm saying is here, if you do a due diligence, okay, I repeat, if you do a proper due diligence and you have the right data with you, okay, so that today, for example, today we're sitting on 11th of July. Probably a few more months down the line, like a lot of employees say they want to file IT returns. I already know something is going to come. So preempt. That's one of my points during my press. Try to preempt what's going to come. You remember this one slide where I had try to preempt, think about the future, what can come your way. If you anticipate that, okay, you are in a better situation to prepare and take care of the situation. But if you sit in a comfort level zone, jab aayega dekhe jayenge, I'll see when it comes. Then you're going to sit on a hot seat.
So the question here ends, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for making our doubt clear. The webinar was really very amazing. I would like to propose heartiest vote of thanks to you, sir, for gracing today's webinar. Your presence and wise word helps to magnify our cause in best possible way. I hope all the participants learn a lot with this webinar. I would really like to thank you, sir, for giving us your valuable time. I'm delighted to be the part of today's webinar. A good event never ends. In the world, they take only a pause and keep us awaiting for the next. All good things eventually end. I consider everyone as fortunate that they become a part of this webinar, which was full of knowledge, which makes us difficult to say goodbye. Thank you so much. It was really cooperating of you. Again, thank you all for attending today's webinar. And if you have any additional question, you can contact us by email or telephone. We are happy to provide additional support to you. The end of one chapter is the beginning of next. Keep on reading. The best is yet to come. I, Ritika, your host for the day, sign off on a cheerful note. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.